Alison Taafe, the Sassy Chef, and welcome to Cooking with ASCA. We're now going to do a really lovely butter chicken curry that has chickpeas in it and it's served with rice. The chickpeas will add an extra bit of protein in there and some nice roughage and minerals for the kids. And we're going to use a nice lean chicken as well. And we're also going to add some canned tomatoes and some fresh chicken stock. So lots of lovely ingredients, beautiful taste, not too spicy. The rice served with it adds a little bit of carbohydrate in a good way. We're going to use the basmati rice. Okay, so let's get cracking. Okay, so we're going to use some nice lean chicken breast for this one. It's completely skinless and it's pretty much as lean as they come. We're going to cut that into nice big chunks. So basically we're just going to cut those into strips. And I'm using my red board. Now you may not have the luxury of having different boards and different colours for hygiene. If you don't, just have one board that you know is always used for raw meat and poultry and possibly even seafood. Make sure you scrub it in hot soapy water above about 77 degrees Celsius very, very well before you put anything on there that's not actually going to be contaminated by the raw chicken. So if you're going to make a sandwich or a salad, you pretty much need a new board or a really, really clean one. Otherwise this will contaminate the rest of the food. So we're just going to cut that into nice big chunks. Now you can use chicken thigh if you wish. It is slightly less expensive. But the chicken breast does cook quite quickly, and in this recipe it's really nice, so it's entirely up to you. But chicken thigh will be fine. So just into nice pieces, like so. I won't cut all that up now. But also remember to wash your knife. That's something else that people forget. So hot soapy water, scrub that above 77 degrees Celsius, give it a rinse in hot water, as hot as you can stand it, and then make sure you dry it off. So don't just leave that there. What we're going to do now is put the chicken into a nice clean bowl, and I'm going to also wash my hands and change my board for the next component. Before I do that, I'm going to add my spices in here. So this is now marinated. It can be done probably a couple of hours before lunch, but it would be really good if you did it overnight. You get all those lovely spices into the chicken, the lovely colour from the turmeric will really be bright yellow by the time you come back in. So what we're going to do is add our turmeric. Got a little turmeric here. It's a beautiful bright colour and it's got a lovely, lovely taste to it as well. I'll pop that in. Carefully measured, as you can see. We have a little bit of garam masala, which generally means mixed spice in Indian, so it's got a lot of lovely things in there. We've also got a little bit of cayenne pepper, so a little bit. If your kids like it hot, you can add more, but I would pull back a little bit on that one because that's the spiciness, that's the chilli in this recipe. And then to make it almost more curry-like is to add some beautiful ground cumin in there, which is great. Okay, I'm back. Wash my hands, hot soapy water, as hot as I could bear under the tap. New board, but like I say, if you have to use the same board, make sure it's washed really well and rinsed and dried really well. Okay, so let's go back to our garlic. We're just going to take off the bottom rough section of the garlic. We're going to smash it down and just pop out the skin, easy, just like so. We're just going to roughly chop this. Always use the corner of your board because that way, if you're cutting up melon or pineapple in the rest of the day, you're less likely to cut it on the corner. So I've always remembered to do the garlic and the strong smelling foods here. It's not going to impregnate the board with other flavours. The ginger can be grated in, so I'm going to use my microplane. It's matching, you see, blue, looks beautiful. You're going to match this into here beautifully, and the young ginger doesn't need to be peeled. At the moment, it's a really good new season ginger. So pop it into there, just grate it through, tap it in. If you don't have one of these sexy things, you can use a grater or you can just chop it up yourself. So nice thin slices, little strips, and then chop over it just like the garlic. So let's do that. It's lovely. And it smells so vibrant as well, it smells beautiful. A little bit of spiciness in there too. A little bit of garlic. Okay, so now we're going to marinate in a bit of natural yogurt. You can use a light yogurt if you wish. Obviously not one that's sweetened because it would be horrible. This is making a curry. So an unsweetened yogurt, light, if you want to be careful of the fat content in your food. Just pop some of that in there. And this actually binds and acts as a marinade around the chicken. I'm also going to put some lemon juice in. So I'll take my lemon, give it a bit of a roll on the board. You've probably all seen this before on the TV or in recipe books, but to explain it, what we're doing is bursting all the little cells of lemon juice in there, so we're getting maximum juice out of our lemon. As soon as you can start smelling it on your hand, you know that juice is just begging to come out. Same thing with limes and oranges as well. Now instead of cutting the lemon smack down the middle like most people do, cut it on either side, just like so. That way you can see the pip straight away, and look how much juice comes out at one side, because you're not squeezing it across the centre of those veins. So it's a good tip. I learnt that one in Thailand with limes. Limes are always very difficult to squeeze. This way you get so much more lemon for your money. Beautiful. If you wanted to, you can put a bit of lemon rind in there as well on your microplane. You can just grate that too. Right, so let's just mix this together so you can have all that lovely colour And the yogurt's going to act as that moisture for the marinade. And you've got the garlic and ginger in there, it's just going to do amazing things overnight. Make sure that your fridge is around about 3 or 4 degrees Celsius for storing raw poultry, and this should not be stored for more than 2 to 3 days. I think you probably all know from recipe books and TV shows that the longer that you marinate something, the more flavour gets into it, which is great. But with raw poultry, then also bacteria gets into it as well. So I'd like to see you using this within 1 or 2 days if you can. All right, so that's ready. Now don't go dipping your finger in this, it's raw chicken. I know you're going to want to, but just hold back on that, otherwise it's going to make you a little bit sick. So labelling things in the fridge for your canteens is fantastic. You can even put your initials on here, especially the date it was made. Sometimes you take things out of the freezer, you look at the use by date and it's void because it's 2 months old, so just make sure that you put a date on there, pop it in the fridge and keep that away from any cooked products as well, because this ultimately is raw poultry. Okay, so now we're going to cook the butter chicken. It's been marinating overnight, like I say, 1 to 2 days maximum with that. Unwrap it, and pretty much what we've got here is beautiful chicken that's been marinating in that turmeric, the garam masala, the cayenne pepper, a little bit of cumin and the lemon juice. Slow cooker's great too, you can put that on first thing in the morning, within 4 or 5 hours you're going to get a really lovely product. So lots of versatility with this one. Okay, a little bit of oil in the pan. Not too hot, I'm down on a very moderate heat, so gas mark very low, or low to medium, and electricity the same thing, you don't want to burn this. The next phase is to put some chopped onions in. I'm just going to pop those in, and you should hear a sizzle as it goes in. And you don't want these onions to burn, you just want them to lightly golden in here. Okay. Get those onions moving around. Remember the garlic and ginger's in the marinade, so we don't need to put that in this one. What we will add though is some cinnamon. We're going to add some whole cinnamon quills that are going to go in there and sweat as well. And I'm also going to use a product that you may have seen before. I'm going to use curry leaves. Come off the curry tree plant just like this. Now these are great because they are great for lowering blood sugar, great for diabetes, great for the liver, low blood pressure, great for the heart, not many reasons not to use them. So they're going to go in and they kind of crackle and pop like rice bubbles. And basically they're going to just become intensified in flavour, you're going to get a lovely curry taste from them. And they're going to go in there. If you don't have curry leaves, you can actually buy them dried. You can also buy them frozen as well. Don't panic, if you don't have them, you can use the poor man's relation, you can use a bay leaf, and you can buy those dried as well. So in here we've got our onions, our cinnamon sticks, and our beautiful curry leaves. You see those, they're delicious to eat as well. They're really nice in your rice as well. Want to put those in your rice, in the steamer? Excellent. And I'm also going to put a little bit of ground cardamom in now. Now don't put that in the marinade, I'll put that in the pan because I want to sweat it off a little bit. Just get some of that rather strong taste out of it. So I'm going to sweat that down a little bit. Sweating down spices enables the harshness to come out of them, but also the lovely flavour to develop, the sweetness of the curry flavours. So if you could smell this now, it would be very encouraging because it's got this lovely Indian curry leaf cardamom flavour. It's just incredible. But you can see nothing in there is burnt. It's what we call sweating. So we're using a saucepan rather than a frying pan. A frying pan with low sides would allow the heat to escape, and the increased temperature in the pan would brown the food, which is fine if you want to brown your onions. For this purpose, we don't. We just want to seal things. So what we're going to do now is just turn up the heat just slightly, and we're going to add all of this with the yogurt and the spices and the chicken into our pan, all together. Perfect. You can just sizzle there. Make sure you don't catch the bottom of this. In other words, if it's too high and it's bubbling away vigorously, you've got to turn it down a little bit, because otherwise you're going to end up burning that yogurt. Okay, just give that a stir around. So all that chicken and all those lovely spices mix together. And what will happen here is the chicken will start to firm up. So it's kind of like sealing the chicken, not quite cooking it all the way through, but just sealing it. Then we're going to add things like crushed tomatoes and chicken stock to give our curry a little bit of juice and flavour as well. So just cook that just for about 5 minutes or so. And if you find that the bottom of that pan is starting to stick, don't be frightened of putting a little tiny bit of extra oil in there too, just to stop it from burning. Okay, so this has been cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes. All you need to do is just feel the chicken and make sure it's firm on the outside. That means it's sealed on the outside. Then we're going to take some crushed tomatoes, chopped or crushed tomatoes, put them straight into the pan. If you want to, you can put a little water in there and just rinse the can out, so you get a little bit of extra juice in there. I'm going to do that with my chicken stock, which I'm going to use. Now, if you have fresh stock, fabulous. Okay, so rinse out that with the chicken stock. I'll put a little bit more in there as well. The recipes are available for you so you can see the actual quantities. You can see straight away it's become curry-like. It's got its juiciness around it. So I'll pop a little bit of sea salt in, a little bit of pepper. Just a little bit of cracked pepper, not too much. Got all those spices in there giving you that flavour, and that cayenne is in there as well. And what we need to do now is just simmer this until the chicken is just about cooked. In other words, take a piece out. If you can break it with your fingers, it's nice and soft. It's not going to be tough, of course. Just cooked within about maybe 8 to 10 minutes will be fine. We'll pop back and add the cream and the chickpeas just a moment. Okay, so meanwhile, back at my pan, we're looking to have this cooked down so it's a nice rich sort of sauce or gravy, you might say, around the chicken. So it's not just runny like a soup, it's actually got a little bit of texture and body to it. It's probably been cooking now for about maybe, say, 12 minutes altogether. We're going to finish it off now with a little bit of cream. This gives it the buttery taste. I know it's not butter, but it's cream, I know. But this gives it that little bit of buttery taste and richness at the end. A little bit of cream in there, just lightens it all up nicely and combines it all. And also going to finish with some chickpeas. Now I added chickpeas for extra protein, so they give it a little bit of extra roughage there, and they're a good carbohydrate and they're very low GI. So what with the curry leaves as well and that, it's really good for lowering the blood sugar levels for kids, which is great. Okay, so stir those in. The recipe will tell you then to leave that for another 5 or 6 minutes just to cook through. You can at this point taste the seasoning, so take a spoon and have a little taste. It shouldn't be too spicy because it is a butter chicken, it's quite mild. Nice spiciness. Curries don't necessarily have to be hot. That does need a little bit more salt and pepper in it though, I will admit. So I'll pop that in there. It's always better to add salt gradually because you can always rectify and add a little bit more at the end. There's absolutely no tricks of the trade to take salt out. Actually there is one. Throw it in the bin and start again. Unless you want to do that, put the salt in gradually. It's a very good tip. You cannot take it out once it's in. Okay, just stir that round. Let that bubble away for about maybe 5 minutes. Just be careful not to do it too hot, otherwise the cream will split and that doesn't look very nice. Dish up the curry. And remember not to dish up all the chicken for the first 5 people and all the sauce for the last 5. Give them an equivalent amount of sauce and chicken for each serve, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, so we have a beautiful curry on the plate there. You can use coriander in this one. You can also put a little bit of fresh chilli on there if you're game. But I'm going to do it in the little dish like you guys use at your canteens as well. A little bit of rice on the side. This one's very economical. As I say, the chickpeas help to build this and bulk this out, and they're reasonably inexpensive. So you've got your chicken there, a little bit of curry leaf on the top just for a little bit of garnish, likewise. And we have butter chicken, fabulous, it smells great, I wish you could smell it. But it's very easy, and I really hope that you do this one, the kids are going to love it. Have a curry day on me. Thanks for watching.